With the way fuel prices are going, that's staying empty. Maybe it's time to go green. Green on a bit of a budget. And I'm sure the eagle eye amongst you have already picked out that is the Tigor EV. We're pitching it against something of a different shade of green. That there is the Tigor CNG. Both their drivetrains are very different, but that part's obvious. What's not so obvious is performance, ride and handling, which are a bit more of a question mark. Time then to get some answers. And first test, cornering test. Today we're going to do two runs, one at 60 kmph and the other at 65 kmph, where we think these two cars will reach their limit. And we'll run the first run now. So the Tigor EV will run first and the Tigor CNG. And as you can see, both cars had no problem clearing that first cone. Yes, there was a nice big gap, a little bit of understeer starting to kick in both the cars, but fairly clean run, no problems at 60 kmph. Now to up the ante to 65 kmph. And at 65 kmph, you can see that the Tigor EV is reaching its limit. It first starts a little bit of understeer coming into the corner and then a little bit of oversteer. And it can't miss that first cone and one cone down. With the Tigor CNG, it is a little lighter, in fact a whole human lighter than the Tigor EV, and so still a bit of understeer, still a bit of oversteer, but it just misses that first cone. And just to prove to you guys that we really push these cars to their limits, here's the Tigor CNG doing 70 kmph. If you guys have been watching our cornering test, you've probably noticed that today there are a lot more orange cones. Well, every time we hit one of those cones, they don't always survive. And as you can imagine, we've been going through quite a few and having to replace them as well. So we figured out a way you guys can be part of this test. Head over to the ZigWheels Instagram page to see how you can do that. So it's 1-0 to the Tigor CNG after the cornering test, but for the acceleration test, the Tigor EV has sport mode. Yes, it's a little heavier, but that sport mode packs a lot more punch. Let's see what happens.
The EV packs a lot more go in sport mode, and so it easily bests the CNG car in the 0 to 100 kmph sprint in our tests by over 5 seconds. But with the EV in drive mode, the tables are turned. And the EV takes a whole 6 seconds longer than the CNG car to reach 100 kmph. But they are more comparable in roll-on accelerations, but still the EV being the punchier of the two. The braking test was more straightforward than the acceleration test. The EV's low rolling resistance tyres and heavy weight allowing the lighter CNG Tigor to easily take the win.
And now it's time to meet another one of our team members. This is Gaurav Daware. This is Gaurav Daware.
So Gaurav becomes our splash test dummy for this ride quality segment. In our supremely scientific mug test, it was the i-CNG that came out tops, spilling a mere 150 ml of water when compared to the EV's 250 ml. The EV is heavier and the suspension feels like it has been stiffened up to cope with the extra weight, so it's not as composed as the CNG fueled car over really rough roads like these. The CNG Tigor also felt like there was more travel in the suspension to soak up these big bumps better too. On smooth tarmac, the i-CNG continues to feel the better car. It rides flatter over smaller imperfections and bigger bumps than the stiffer sprung EV. The EV is more easily unsettled by sharper bumps, but on smooth roads, there's little to complain about.
And that brings us to the end of this exciting little test. And the winner, by virtue of its performance in its cornering, braking and ride quality abilities, is the Tigor i-CNG. The Tigor EV though can still hold its head high, being a well-rounded, affordable electric. And yes, these are not the only aspects when it comes to these two green cars. So head over to Car Dekho right now, where we've gone into pennies and dime details when it comes to owning either one of them. And of course, like, subscribe, share and let us know in the comments how you liked this video.